only 2 months away from a new Bumblebee movie, and with new Bumblebee movie comes new Bumblebee movie merchandise, and of course another wave of tiny turbo changers. So let's crack these open, and I'll be able to list the codes for you guys, how to identify stuff, and take a look at some of the new molds that are included in this wave. So this is Protoman, this is Proto Retro, and let's do this.
Proto Retro.
So here we go. 12 tiny turbo changers from the latest wave, from the, we'll call it the Bumblebee Movie wave, although this is what the box will look like in stores and Walmart or whatever. But even though it's the Bumblebee Movie wave, it does feature characters from all the cinematic Transformer movies. I won't say cinematic universe because probably this Bumblebee movie is its own thing, thank goodness. Anyways, so here today we're going to open them up, and also I'm going to help you learn how to identify stuff. I've done previous videos on how to do this, but just in case you're new to the tiny turbo changers and this is your first time seeing a video of this kind, I will show you how it's done. Now, tiny turbo changers are done, like I said before, in a bag that are blind packed, and how you identify them essentially is on the back. There's 3 ways essentially. You could feel it up. It's not always the best way, that's the Lego way. But they also have a code, which is impossible to see, but it's going to be located above this little window here. And it's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. They don't go to K, and then it's N and P. Each one of those letters corresponding to something. And also you have the little window at the bottom there, which if you push the character all the way to the bottom, you might be able to see, oh, look at the color there. That's kind of white. So you could kind of use the box that'll be in the store to give you a general idea, because most characters are kind of a primary color. If it's blue, it probably is Dropkick, although there's some characters that might have also blue. So then you just use the coding. But I mean, if it's red, it's probably Optimus. If it's yellow, it's probably Bumblebee, because there's no other yellows in this wave. But either way, that's one of the 3 different tricks. Feel it up. Look at the codes, which I'll actually put in the description, which correspond to which, if you don't sit through the video. Or just use that little window, because sometimes the codes are hard to read. Sometimes the lighting in your Walmart might be not as great. Sometimes the code is too shallow when it's pressed in, so it's hard to see. I know, like, I had to kind of, for one of them, I had to kind of feel up the bag combined with look at the hole to know that I was getting a B, if you will, because I couldn't tell. So let's start cracking these open. So we're going to start with this one here. This one is labeled A, and according to the code list, got my scissors, according to the code list, A should be Ratchet. So there we go. We got a tiny turbo changer Ratchet. Now the Ratchet is actually a repaint mold. Ratchet has been used in previous waves, so this isn't a new one. Although now it's sporting a somewhat G1 colored color scheme. But otherwise, I mean, it's kind of more or less the same Ratchet mold. And then being a tiny turbo changer, very simple. Again, I think it would have been more G1 Ratchet if maybe they made the made the head red instead of the chest, but I mean, that's also a holdover from the original Michael Bay movie colors where it had the red chest. So there we go, Ratchet. One done. And we got B. Now B, according to the list here, is supposed to be Grimlock. And Grimlock, let me just get the paper out here too, a little paper. Grimlock is supposed to be, again, some weird translucent with a teal. What is it supposed to represent? I have no idea. Here's the transformation, very simple. I mean, there was like a G2 teal Grimlock. Maybe it's trying to go for that, but I mean, I don't know what's going on with the clear, so to speak. And again, that wasn't an original mold. That's been used already twice in the past. They did the original movie Grimlock colors and kind of like that brownish toy colors. And then they did like a shadow Grimlock. Let's go to C. Now here we're going to get into stuff interesting. If C is what it's supposed to be, C is supposed to be Dragonstorm. Dragonstorm's a brand new mold for the tiny turbo changers based off of the Dragonstorm character from the previous movie. Now, Dragonstorm is, again, as the name suggests, a dragon. Let's see how this transformation works. I'm going to try to figure out, probably just a twist and a turn. It's a tiny turbo changer. How tough could it be? So yeah, something like this. There we go. And then we got the three-headed Dragonstorm. Well, they could kind of barely see the head there. So yeah, he's a brand new mold, and he's letter C. Pretty cool. Next, we have another brand new one according to the list here. We got, oh no, this is not the new one yet. This is Dropkick, which is using the mold for Cogman. And while it's supposed to be based on one of the new characters in the Bumblebee movie, it's using a mold that has been previously used already in the Tiny Turbo Changer line. And so yeah, hey, Dropkick in his car form, because there's going to be another Dropkick in this. So let's go to E. And E is one of the other new molds. So now here we have Scorn, brand new mold, although the transformation is almost exactly like that of his original toy. And Scorn is based off of the Age of Extinction toy. And obviously in the movie he had more gray colors. In this it's based more of the colors off of the toy colors. And let's take a guess on that transformation. Probably very simple to that of the original toy. Something like that. Again, it's tiny turbo changers. They're not exactly the most amazing transformations. They're just more novelty blind pack stuff. So yay, Scorn. Brand new mold. So at least that's good too. F. Probably the centerpiece of all of this. Also a new mold. We got the Volkswagen Bumblebee. Now, I remember when I saw photos of this, I was like, it looks really good from this angle. But then when you kind of get to the back there, you can sort of see how they're doing the feet. So some is a little lost there. But again, brand new mold of B. Considering the Bumblebee mold up to this point with the previous three waves have just been repaints like crazy of that Camaro one. So it's nice to have that be. Again, simple transformation. But hey, we got the Volkswagen B, the main focus. And it's a brand new mold. So pretty cool considering a lot of these are repaints. And speaking of repaints, let's go to G. G is, oh, doesn't that look like a blue blackout? But this is actually supposed to be now the chopper mode of Shatter. Not Shatter, Dropkick. And Dropkick, of course, because it seems most of the Decepticons that are featured in this movie are triple changers, so they just took the blackout mold that's been used already previously and went, okay, that's going to be Dropkick, even though it's, you know, it's either clearly just Cogman or clearly just blackout. No head remold that could really make the difference. But again, no one's paying attention. It's just that. So chopper mode, Dropkick, a repaint. Let's go to the next one here. We are at H. And H is also a repaint, and this is a weird repaint because this is supposed to be Soundwave, and we already had Soundwave released once before in the past waves. It was done in gray to match more how he is in the movie. This one is a purple Soundwave. Now, part of me feels that the reason, you know, maybe they wanted to do a G1 colored, let's say, Soundwave, but they didn't want to, you know, have so much blue, you know, in there. I mean, you have like Dropkick is blue. You have the other Dropkick that's blue. So I guess if they just had another blue, that'd be really annoying. So they did purple, which then makes us think, oh, did they mistake Soundwave and Shockwave? I don't know. So it's a purple Soundwave from Dark of the Moon. But it's not a new mold. Not very exciting, that one. And again, purple doesn't make sense. Here's going to be an easy one to pick up even just if you feel it up because it's probably the largest of the bunch. We have Optimus Prime. Again, a repaint. based off of all the previous repaints, all the previous molds we've had previously through Tiny Turbo Changer, but this one is supposed to be a G1 homage, specifically of how the front looks there. Like in vehicle mode, it's a lot more G1 homage because you have the paint on the back here and the primary red. When it's obviously transformed, which I'll just quickly just do this. There we go. All the paint on the back then kind of disappears because then it's the red in the front. They should have painted the red, excuse me, the blue on the legs in the front too, which kind of sucks because then that would have really cemented that G1 homage look and maybe even paint some white on the chest. But again, limited paint with these guys. These are low budget stuff, so it would have really sealed away that G1 homage look. You start piling these guys over here now. Got quite a few here. A little mess. We got 3 more to go, boys and girls. So now, and by the way, that Prime was, again, like I said, a previously existing mold. So now, here's a new mold. According to the list, we got what they call Swoop, but it's clearly Strafe. It's like half transformed here. It's clearly Strafe from the Age of Extinction toy line and the movie and everything. But they called it Swoop probably because they got back the Swoop trademark and they could use it now properly for their Dinobots. So we have Strafe. Yay! And he's a new mold. One problem that I have with this one is, and I've seen a lot of reports of this, is that he easily comes apart this one because of how thin he is. So if you don't worry if you think you got a broken one, it's just he has a really open joint there that just the legs come off like nothing. Again, he's a very thin Dinobot. So, but it's cool to get a new mold, and he's done in his blue colors, which are more toy accurate than how he was obviously in the movie, which was gray, but it's a new mold, yay. And probably the most interesting of the new molds, if this one is correct, at N, is Megatron. And this one is supposed to be based off of his Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, the tank Megatron. And it's done in the grays and purples that are more that of the movie, rather than that of some of his toys that were absolutely bizarre. Now, the robot mode is really cool, has nice details and stuff, but the alt mode, from what I've seen online and the photos, is pretty bad. I'll try to do it somewhat here. Essentially, the head is like completely exposed like this, and then it kind of just goes something like that, and there you go. That's supposed to be tank mode, which is something that the GoBots have been guilty of, not so much Transformers, but at least the robot mode is pretty cool. There's a lot of articulation on this one and a pretty good amount of paint, and I honestly feel that that's probably the best one of the wave thus far, and especially considering that it's a brand new mold. So pretty cool. Only, again, that alt mode is kind of and that arm isn't articulated, but everything else is really, like, there's a lot of parts going on here. There's a lot of pretty cool, that one. And last one, again, hearkening to the Bumblebee movie, but unfortunately is just a repaint, which is kind of a shame, is this one here is supposed to be Shatter, the female Decepticon, in one of her 2 modes that she has as a triple changer. But what they did was they took Barricade's mold, which is a shame, but can't be helped. It's to me, I feel that what they probably should have done was any movie characters that were going to be featured for this movie coming up, they probably should have maybe went out of their way to make those the brand new molds. Instead, like, we got the likes of Megatron as a brand new mold, Strafe from, a couple of movies ago, the last movie with Dragonstorm, and same thing. So a lot of dinos and villains, essentially, or dragons and villains, or anything of that matter, seems to be the ones that really get the focus here. Maybe it's the engineering team behind Tiny Turbo Changers. They really like those guys instead. I don't know. So here's the whole crew. Again, I'll post the codes in the description to make it easy for you guys to identify stuff if you're standing in Walmart or Toys R Us or wherever, Target, and you need to be picking out who you want. My personal suggestion would be the Megatron, or if you want to get Bumblebee. Everyone else is kind of not too special. Dragonstorm being, all the unique molds being right over here. Dragonstorm being also pretty unique, but the rest kind of being kind of passable. Some of them not even making sense, like the purple Soundwave. I could see the homages in some areas, but they're not 100% winning me over this time around. But again, what do you expect for $2.99 American and $4.99 Canadian? They aren't expensive. They're fun for kids, something good for filling a loot bag or whatever. Hey, Halloween's coming up. You'd probably be the hippest guy on the block if you were throwing that in the bags. But aside from that, that's all I could really say. So this is Protoman of Proto Retro, and this has been a video review of Tiny Turbo Changers Series 4 Movie Edition. So until then, guys, take care, and as always, roll out.
Like what you saw? Be sure to like and comment on this video. Also, if you're not already, be sure to slam that subscribe button, as well as follow me on Twitter @Protoman and the Transformers Slag podcast with me, Protoman, and Jaws D. We also have Patreon, so be sure if you want to support us, check that out. And as always, thanks again from Protoman of Proto Retro.